Well, we're going to talk more about Caitlin Clark's absence and the impact this is felt. That's being felt around the league, and even in Indiana, it's going to be a big impact.
You know, things get spicy when one player is carrying the entire WNBA like a broken refrigerator up a fifth-floor walk-up. Caitlin Clark has basically become the league. She's the main character, the plot twist, and the reason half the country even remembers the WNBA exists. As for the TV ratings, let's just say if ESPN could physically hug a human being, it would be clinging to Caitlin like a koala on espresso.
I'm interested in is what somebody tweeted me and asked about earlier today that I want to show you right now. Put this tweet up, please, so our audience can see it here. At 4th Gen Bucci, B-U-C-C-I, right? Stephen A. Smith, can the WNBA keep itself afloat while CC, as in Caitlin Clark, is out? And
we're talking record-breaking, eyebrow-raising, executives popping champagne TV numbers, the kind of viewership the WNBA probably thought was extinct. Suddenly, people who haven't watched a women's basketball game since Lisa Leslie dunked are tuning in like it's the NBA Finals. You can practically hear remote controls nationwide getting arthritis from how often they're flipping over to watch Caitlin. And yet, here comes the WNBA acting like she's just another jersey in the locker room. If Caitlin's presence is pure gold, the WNBA brass is over here trying to trade it in for expired Chuck E. Cheese tokens.
Guys, today the ratings are out. Indiana Fever versus the New York Liberty, Caitlin Clark's most recent game on cable TV. And on top of that, the WNBA, desperate to sell tickets to tonight's...
Let's be real. The WNBA didn't roll out the red carpet for Caitlin Clark. They rolled out a yoga mat and said, make do. Flights and economy, a schedule that makes coal miners wince, and treatment that's one cardigan short of elderly. Neglect. Caitlin Clark isn't just outperforming expectations. She's doing it while getting side-eyed by jealous teammates and shoulder-checked by players acting like it's WrestleMania. If this is how the league treats its one cash cow, imagine what it does for everyone else. And now that she's injured, the silence is suddenly deafening.
Nor am I going to take my eyes off of what transpires with the WNBA over the next 2 weeks while Caitlin Clark is out with the quad strain. And the reason why is because, let me tell you something right now. I'm not going to go to word hate. I'm not going to be out there like RG3 was saying that Angel Reese hates Caitlin Clark or other players hate Caitlin Clark. But I will say this. I don't think it's specific about Caitlin Clark. I think it's what Caitlin Clark represents. See, it's through no fault of Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark balls. She balled at Iowa in college. She's balled since she's been in the NBA. She came into the league last year with no break whatsoever between the college game and the pro game and did her thing. Ended up as an all-star, ended up being 4th in the league in MVP voting, was the clear winner for Rookie of the Year. No competition whatsoever in that regard. When it was really all said and done, we know what she brings to the table.
Has just been ruled out for the next 2 weeks, and ticket sales are already down 75%. So if you didn't know, Caitlin Clark injured her hamstring and is out for the next 2 weeks, including 2 road games. One of those games being against the Chicago Sky and Angel Reese, where they have a very heated rivalry. Just 2 days ago, the cheapest ticket to get into the Chicago Sky versus Indiana Fever game was $86, and now it's down to $25. This is also against the same person who said the reason people come to watch the WNBA is because of her talking about Angel Reese, but she cannot even keep the ticket prices up. The teams that Caitlin Clark was supposed to play against over these next 2 weeks also already rented out a bigger stadium because of how many people they were expecting to have show up to see Caitlin Clark play. And because the WNBA is only about 40 games, she is missing a huge chunk of time with being out 2 weeks in June.
You could practically hear the panic setting in at WNBA headquarters, one sprained ankle, and everyone's scrambling like they just dropped a baby in a swimming pool. Because here's the thing, the league doesn't just miss Caitlin Clark's highlights, it misses relevance. Without her, it's back to gymnasiums echoing like church halls, and attendance numbers so low you can hear players' thoughts. And make no mistake, it wasn't just about the play. It was about the drama, the buzz, the electricity. Without her, the WNBA is once again trying to sell water in a rainstorm.
WNBA fans, y'all are screwed. Look at that. Caitlin Clark is out 2 weeks. 2 weeks. Do you know how bad the WNBA ratings are going to be for the next 2 weeks? Nobody watches the WNBA at all if it's not for Caitlin Clark in the first place. Now that she is hurt, who in the world is going to watch these games? Who in the world is going to watch a WNBA game without the biggest star the sport has seen ever? Like, this is going to be hilarious the next couple of weeks when these ABC stations, TNT, ESPN, see how bad the ratings are when Caitlin Clark isn't playing. And then all the players are going to see, oh, wow, we actually need Caitlin Clark to play in these games for us to try to make money.
Meanwhile, social media is in full mourning mode. The comment sections look like memorials. People aren't just sad, they're angry. Because they knew this was going to happen. You run a player into the ground, schedule back-to-back games like, it's a punishment, and then act surprised when she goes down. Caitlin's been treated like a one-woman circus act, expected to perform miracles while everyone else folds their arms and pretends she's just lucky to be there. Spoiler alert, the only thing lucky about Caitlin Clark is that she hasn't completely ripped the rim off the backboard from overuse. Let's talk numbers because that's where the real roasting begins. Caitlin's games have outperformed every other matchup this season by laughable margins. When she plays, the lights are brighter, the crowd louder, the sponsors happier, and the popcorn 30% saltier. When she doesn't, the drop-off is so dramatic it's basically a cliff dive. Television ratings without Caitlin look like a broken EKG flat, lifeless, and kind of embarrassing. Even the fans admit it. No Caitlin, no clicks. That's not just influence, that's domination.
Clark effect is real. Caitlin Clark effect is alive and well, but unfortunately for the WNBA, she's now out for a minimum of 2 weeks before she gets reevaluated. So they might not see numbers like this for quite some time. This next Indiana Fever versus Chicago Sky game, June 7th, I believe, that's going to be on CBS as well. You think that's going to draw 2.7? I can assure you it won't. You think that's going to draw over 2 million? I can assure you that won't.
So what does the WNBA do in return? Throws her to the wolves, and by wolves we mean defenders with the subtlety and grace of a demolition crew on a caffeine bender. Caitlin Clark, the league's biggest draw in years, gets tossed into the Lions' den with a target on her back and a neon sign that might as well read, "Please foul me," repeatedly. Her minutes have been stretched thinner than cheap spandex, as if overplaying a rookie in the most physical league imaginable is somehow a growth strategy, protection on the court. That's cute. The refs are practically handing out coupons for one free hard foul. And now that she's hurt, the league is pulling the classic shrug and pivot, scanning the room desperately for the next headline generator. Spoiler alert, there isn't one. Because the moment Caitlin hit the floor clutching her injury, the momentum that had been building like a freight train slammed straight into a concrete wall. The energy, the excitement, the ratings buzz gone in an instant. The WNBA gambled on her star power without protecting the investment. Now they're finding out the hard way. You don't build a league by breaking your brightest star.
Play for us to get views, so maybe we should stop hurting her. Oh, maybe they'll finally see that they need Caitlin Clark. I mean, I can't believe we even have to discuss this, that she's even, I mean, if you don't think she's the biggest star in the sport, you're delusional. This girl carries not only her team, but her sport and her league. She carries the league, and you're going to find.
Now let's talk about the Indiana Fever. If you thought they didn't feel Caitlin's absence immediately, you're completely mistaken. Their latest game against the Washington Mystics was a painful spectacle, like watching a chicken try to operate a jet ski. Confused, chaotic, and not even close to winning any awards. The Fever dropped that one 87-83, and you could almost taste the desperation hanging thick in the air. The players looked like they were waiting for Caitlin to pop out of a Gatorade cooler and pull off a miracle save. Spoiler alert, no such luck. The Fever without Caitlin is like pizza without cheese. Sure, it's technically still pizza, but it's also profoundly disappointing. The offense crawled slower than dial-up internet in the age of fiber optics. The defense was more absent than a sitcom dad who forgot to show up. Shots were missed, like the team was allergic to the basket. The rhythm, completely off. The spacing, tragic. And the energy? Picture trying to power a roller coaster with a single AA battery just not going to cut it. It's a harsh reminder that sometimes, one, Player really can make or break an entire team.
Miserable task of watching the Indiana Fever play basketball without Caitlin Clark. There were a whole lot of things wrong with this game on the basketball side of things. Obviously, the Indiana Fever's interior defense was horrible. If you watched this game, you saw them give up, I think, over 50 points in the paint. Aaliyah Boston looked like a cone down there. It was literally horrible to watch. I haven't seen a team play that bad interior defense in a long time. They were not even trying. It's like Caitlin Clark wasn't playing out there, and they decided, you know what, since Caitlin Clark isn't playing, we're not even going to try. We know we're going to lose. It was horrible to watch. This is a game you could have won against the youngest team in the league. You're playing against a bunch of rookies out there. This was a winnable game for the Indiana Fever. This team, mind you, with Caitlin Clark, literally lost by 2 to the New York Liberty, which is the championship team last year. And without Caitlin Clark, you look trash out there. And it's not even that they look trash. They are boring.
Absolutely. Everyone gave it their all. But let's be real. This game had a Caitlin-sized void that no amount of hustle or grit could fill. You can't just replace that kind of presence with sheer effort alone. No one on the Fever drew defenders, like she does, forcing the opposition to constantly adjust and scramble. No one created those clutch opportunities that flipped the momentum when things looked bleak. And most importantly, no one ignited that intangible spark, that, hey, maybe we can pull this off vibe that keeps a team believing deep into the fourth quarter. Instead, the team looked like it was running on empty, desperately trying to fill the Caitlin-shaped hole with a collective, "We got this," that came off more like a pleading whisper than a battle cry. It was a team performance that practically screamed, "Please come back," louder than a rom-com ex holding a boombox outside your window, desperate, hopeful, and painfully obvious. Meanwhile, the Mystics smelled blood and didn't just win, they feasted. Watching them was like witnessing a school of piranhas stumble upon a lone, vulnerable fish. This Fever team without Caitlin